What's up, comic book fans? And welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me. And today, we got more Blood Hunt. This time with the first of another 3-part tie-in miniseries called Strange Academy Blood Hunt. And if you missed any part of this Blood Hunt event, then I'll place a card at the top of your screen right now. And I'll put a link up at the end of this video as well. And now I'll admit that I'm not overly familiar with the characters in this story, but I'm gonna try my best to bring you guys this whole Blood Hunt event. And I will say though that one good thing about events like this is that they introduce us to characters that we may not always be familiar with, and it opens the door for them to shine. Now I'm sure a bunch of you guys are already familiar with this group, but I just wanted to say that, to say bear with me, because I'm not. But I did find some of them to be pretty interesting, which made this a pretty cool book for me. But the Strange Academy is a place where some of the best young magic users are trained. And with the bloody events of Blood Hunt, these kids actually end up playing a major role going forward. So if you guys are ready to find out how a group of kids can be effective in this massive event that's already seen Earth's mightiest heroes go down, and you guys know what time it is, let's get it. So this story is shown through the eyes of a new character named Paya. Paya or Pia, I think Paya, I'm not 100% sure though. But Paya makes her debut appearance here. And she starts off the story by thinking to herself, let's play a game. Let's count how many times I lie to the people that I want to be best friends with. And she just so happens to be walking with the other children from the academy in New Orleans on a vampire tour before the events of Blood Hunt begin. And the first lie comes when the son of Dormammu, Doyle Dormammu, asks her if her familiar will come out for the tour, and she tells him that he sleeps during the day. Then as the tour guide gives the tour, Doyle continues on about Paya's familiar. I bet your familiar is like one of those creatures that's super cute and then gets all evil in battle and just eats dudes whole, he tells her. And she responds with a nervous smile and giggle. Yep, pretty much, she tells him. But that's lie number 2. And 3 if you count the fake smile on her face. But then when he does come out, she knows that can only mean one thing. Something is wrong. And just then another one of the students, Shaylee, notices that something strange is happening with the skies, like a storm's rolling in. But she didn't get any notifications on her weather app about it. And after the sun death occurs and the skies are fully blackened, their tour guide is attacked by a vampire. And this is even worse than Paya could have imagined. And as the children prepare for a fight against the vampires as more converge on them, the tour guide reawakens, now a part of the vampire faction. And he instantly goes on the attack against the children. But of course, these aren't normal children. They're magic users, and they're able to fight off these vampires. Although one of them, Jermaine, he's terrified of vampires. And because of that, he's not able to cast his animal projections. So the new girl, Paya, breaks a shovel over her knee and lunges in to stake the vampire through the heart, saving Jermaine. And the rest of the children have never seen Paya get down before. So after seeing it for the first time, they think she's incredible. She's definitely one of them now, they tell her. And she loves this feeling, but she knows there'll be a price to pay later, because there's always a price. And when they look and they see a full horde of vampires coming for them, she feels that this is the price instantly coming due. But they're quickly able to flee back to the academy where they're met with Dr. Voodoo, who uses his magic to decimate these vampires as soon as they cross onto the school grounds. Then he sends the rest of the children back inside to their chambers, with the exception of Paya though. And when Doyle asks her what's that all about, she says that she doesn't have any idea, which is another lie. And now she thinks that she's probably up to about 5 or 6 of those lies by now. But back in the office though with Dr. Voodoo, he asks her if she knows anything about what's going on here. But she tells him that she doesn't, and that much really is true. Then he tells her that this darkness has covered the entire world. But she really doesn't know anything about it, and she swears as much. But one person does believe her, as Dr. Strange's spirit shows up and defends her. Then he requests to speak with Dr. Voodoo alone. Meanwhile, though, Paya and the rest of the students listen in from outside of the door as Strange tells Dr. Voodoo about everything that's transpired so far, with sudden death and Blade orchestrating everything, and that the only hope for humanity is the Montesi formula. And Dr. Voodoo is vehemently against it, but they must, Strange tells them, and they'll need the Darkhold to do it. And aside from the Essence and Wanda, who's missing right now after Blood Hunt issue number 1, Strange felt a vague imprint of it in a forest on Madripoor. And as the students still listen on from outside, they decide that they've got to find the Darkhold so they can stop this and save the day. And initially, Doyle Dormammu is the voice of reason here against going off on their own. But the rest of them feel like this is their duty, and it's bigger than them. And they heard Strange say that the book is in the forest in Madripoor. They can go and get the book, and then bring it back and decide what to do from there. So they all decide to go, and as they leave, Paya thinks that these kids have no idea of the power they're up against. And she's gonna have to go to stop them from doing something stupid. So the students all walk through a portal and are instantly taken from the school to Madripoor. And lucky for them, Madripoor is mostly taken up by the city, so the forest shouldn't have much ground for them to cover. But when they expect to find a book just laying around somewhere, they're stunned when the first thing they see is not a book at all, but a small boy. And when they approach this boy, asking if he knows anything about where they can find the Darkhold, he reveals that they have indeed found it, because he is the Darkhold. And when he reveals it and prepares to defend himself, the students all go in for the attack. But this Darkhold child is way too powerful, and he takes out these students with ease. And then he stalks Paya. But her familiar, Tito Peeping, jumps out again and attempts to defend her by lunging at the Darkhold child. But the child simply backhands the tiny creature like it was nothing, which makes Paya very sad. All Tito Pepping ever wanted to do was help Paya, no matter who she is or what she's done. And she thinks to herself that the next thing that happens was gonna happen anyway. But now, she actually enjoys it, as she gets up and rushes at the Darkhold child, with her eyes turned red, revealing that she is a vampire, and she bites the neck of the Darkhold child. And that, my friends, is the end of the story. But we do have more as we get a little more insight into both Paya and the Darkhold child. As we pick up on a train traveling across country, we meet up with that same Darkhold child, and he's traveling with Agatha Harkness. And right now, Agatha is highly agitated because this child keeps calling her mummy, and she emphatically states that she is not his mummy. It's merely a disguise for when other people are around. But the child decides that he wants to have some fun, and he runs away from Agatha on this train, making her give chase. And meanwhile, he turns the conductor into a tiger and sends him after Agatha. And then he leaps off the back of the train and into a nearby river. And when a good Samaritan and his dog, while on a rowboat, spot the child, they row over to rescue him. But the appearance of the man is boring to the child. So he casts a spell and turns this man into some type of twisted-looking demon under the child's control. And now his new demon helper rolls him right up to Madripoor, explaining how he had gotten there before the Strange Academy children found him. And then we pick up with Paya before she had come to the Strange Academy, as one night she's walking alone in the dark and Tito Pepping runs right past her. Come to find out, he was being chased by a vampire, and as the vampire crashes into her and they smash through a wooden fence, her immediate reaction is to grab a piece of wood and drive it right through the heart of the vampire, and saving the little creature in turn. But as she calls for it to come back out since it's safe now, another vampire sneaks up on her and everything goes black. And as soon as she wakes up, she had already known what she had become. And then Dr. Voodoo appears with Tito Pepping on his shoulder, and he offers to help Paya. But he sees that he's too late and she's already been bitten and turning. But the creature that she had just saved, Tito Pepping, runs over to her, covering her with a shield, protecting her from the sun. So he essentially turned her into a daywalker like Blade, kinda. But then Dr. Voodoo helps her back to her feet and brings her inside and tells her all about the other students of the Strange Academy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the issue. So what did you guys think about it? I personally thought it was pretty cool. I admitted in the beginning that I don't really have a familiarity with these characters, but I thought it ended up pretty intriguing. And I'm interested in seeing where this thing leads. But how about you guys? How did you like the debut of Paya and Tito Pepping as characters? And do you think that this series has any promise? And seeing that Paya is a vampire, I'm sure she likely doesn't know what that Montesi formula is. And with her on a mission to find the tool of her own demise, I think this might be an interesting little ride. But like always, I want to hear you guys' conspiracy theories on where you see this thing heading. And as always, if you enjoyed this video and this channel, and you'd like to support the channel, then you can do so by stopping by the Comics Icon store and picking you up some of this new merchandise, including the background music heard right here in this video available for download, or by joining the Iconic Fan Club channel membership. And there'll be a link in the description to join. But with your membership, you'll gain access to weekly interactive live streams with yours truly, where we can talk about everything that's been going down in these issues, as well as the ones that you'd like for me to go over in the future and other comic book news. Plus, you guys will get loyalty badges, member shoutouts in these videos, and up to 20% off of Comics Icon's merchandise from the Comics Icon store. And now we've got new tiers to the memberships as well, starting at just 99 cents. Now, how's that for an easy way to help out and support the channel? Well, you guys can donate to the channel with the super thanks. And if you're not able to do any of that, then you can also still be a tremendous help to the future of this channel by dropping a like, share, and subscribing to Comics Icons for more icons in the comic book world. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time.